welcome to today's edition of Editorials, a broadcast from Canada. My name is Sandra Asante. Today we're looking at Eritrean refugees demand protection amid Tigray war, as well as the U.S. aid boss visiting Ethiopia to push for aid access. So stay tuned, I'll be back after the break. You're welcome back from the break. Thank you so much for staying with me. Eritrean refugees have organized a protest in front of the UN Refugee Agency office in the capital, Addis Ababa, demanding the relocation of thousands of refugees from camps in the war-torn Tigray region. About 300 protesters on Thursday blocked a road that led to the UNHCR office, holding signs that say stop abuse of Eritrean refugees and protect the rights of refugees. They also demanded basic humanitarian assistance from the UN agency and its Ethiopian counterpart, Agency for Refugee and Returnees Affairs, for thousands of refugees who have escaped the war zone in Ethiopia. We want the world to know that Eritrean refugees are suffering in Ethiopia. Metku Gaddafi, one of the organizers of the rally, told the Al Jazeera, "We feel neglected and forgotten." Many of the protesters are from the refugee camps of Hitsat and Shimbela, which house more than 30,000 refugees, but were shut down in February after being attacked in the wake of armed rebellion in Ethiopia's Tigray region. Thousands of Eritrean refugees have been displaced due to the rebellion since January, with many moving to the surviving camps in Tigray, Mayani and Adi Huraush, while others opted to return to their homes country, Eritrea. Protesters at the rally told Al Jazeera the spoke said the mass atrocities. The protesters at the rally said that mass atrocities of looting, killings, and sexual assault have been committed against the refugee in camps of Hetsat and Shimbela under the control of the forces Tigrayan Defense Forces, the TDF. My mother was killed by the Tigray militia when we were fleeing their camp. Bessa Waba Elisalasi, 25 years old, said this through a translation. There was a day we buried 10 refugees in one day who were shot. Another protester, Metiku, who fled from the Hetsat camp, stated. In total, more than 1 million people have been displaced in Tigray since the November 2020, when the government of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed deployed federal forces to the region after accusing Tigrayan leaders of attacking any base. Both sides have been accused of committing atrocities, while thousands have been killed in the West conflict since Abiy took over as Prime Minister in 2018. Within weeks of launching the war in November, Abiy declared victory when government forces captured the Tigray capital, Mekelle. But last month, the TDF forces retook the capital city and launched a new offensive intended to regain control of the western and southern Tigray, drawing in other regions, including Oromia, the largest part of Ethiopia. Concerns are now growing about the safety and well-being of thousands of Eritrean refugees in the two remaining camps, the Mayani and Adi Harush, as fresh fighting erupted last month. The UN Refugee Agency said that aid agencies have been unable to access the two camps currently under control of the TDF since July 14th. The UNHCR said this week that conditions for the refugees in Tigray region have become increasingly dire, with about 24,000 Eritrean refugees trapped in the two camps of Tigray. In a statement released last week, the ARA stated that it is working to establish a new camp in the neighboring Amhara region's North Gondar zone for refugees escaping the conflict area. However, the situation is deteriorating, and continues to be a matter of grave concerns, these statements said about that. But while the fate of those refugees who remain in Tigray remains unknown, those who escape are still finding it very, very hard to survive. The UN has said that the war would affect about 55,000 Eritrean refugees sheltering in the Afar region that borders Tigray. We no longer feel safe. The war and its trauma have made Ethiopia no longer a safe place for Eritrean refugees. We want to be relocated to a different country. Absena said this one. It's quite sad there, but we hope everything goes on well. Now we're looking at a U.S. boss visit in push for aid access. The head of the U.S. aid agency, Samantha Power, will next week visit Ethiopia to push for more aid to be allowed in the conflict-hit Tigray region. Ms. Power will meet government officials to seek a solution to the lack of humanitarian access to those affected by the 9-month conflict. On Thursday, the UN humanitarian chief Martin Griffiths started his visit to the country for similar push. He said the humanitarian need in Ethiopia has increased because of the conflict and ethnic clashes in other regions. The UN World Food Programme said its supplies are running out as trucks couldn't get into the northern region because of the fighting. There was an attack on agency's convoy earlier this month, but hundreds of thousands of people in Tigray are living in famine-like conditions. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Real Curtains on editorials. My name is Sandra Asante. I'll see you some other time. Do have a blessed day.